This is the first devlog. One of one. I don't know. I'll gauge interest. But of the game I've been working on for a couple months. Yeah, this is the third time I've recorded this because I keep bugging up the OBS settings. But I will do a rundown on the features I currently have implemented, the ones I plan to implement, and just a basic plot overview or whatever. So, yeah. So, basically all I have so far is I've got the guns working, and this is the only one that I have a hand modeled onto yet. I'm going to go back to the other ones and probably remodel them and add hands, make everything shinier and better, but there's a headshot system where, you know, the head explodes and shit. There's inaccuracy on the weapons. Oh yeah, and the rifle, no hands on or anything. I'm working on a new one. I've got this, I forgot what gun it even is, but it'll be a little handheld rifle, and it's gonna look way cooler than the fucking shitty, vague, nothing rifle I've got in the game now. There is a melee system. Here, let me go back and respawn these. That I've got working. I'm definitely putting a hand on this and thinking about replacing the default melee with a hammer or a baseball bat or something. Isn't just a fucking shittily textured wooden plank. Then I have keys. Working with some of the first features I implemented, I'm totally redoing how I do it, but it just consumes it. And then you've got your thing open as keys work. This guy shouldn't even be here. He used to crash the game before I put a collision box on him that can't even interact with him anymore. He's not supposed to be there. He's a placeholder, but I'd miss him if I deleted him. So he'll be there until, I don't know, the end of development probably. Oh yeah, there's a randomized message whenever I load in between scenes. I implemented a system to get quests, so you'll either pick them up from the environment. I'm thinking about putting like a post board here, you can choose your quests, or you get them from like NPCs and stuff. So if you go to this dude, you can ask him to give you a quest, and he will give you a quest. And yeah, you can see your currently equipped quest will be circled on these little papers if it's given by them. These two have the same quest, so. And then you can add more, and you can switch those will change. If you complete a quest, it will cross out. There are ammo pickups. The UI is very rudimentary right now. It's mostly just to make sure everything works. Like you've got the time, you've got the current map, you've got the map that your quest is in, you've got the player location, and then you've got the location of the quest. And you can swap quests at any time. I've got this fire-ass song that a friend of mine made. It'll probably be a menu theme, but I wanted to put it in some capacity before that. Okay, so... Oh, and now onto the weather system that I currently have. So there's a day and night cycle, of course. Then there are random events. So if an event isn't currently happening, then there's a chance. So far, it'll change the fog density, like the fog density just changed. The weather will change, it might rain, it might start raining blood. Yep, there's the blood rain. I'm speeding up the ticks, by the way, for the weather chances. It doesn't happen as fast normally. There are weather events that are basically just visual. I'll eventually make them change the ambience and the music and all that stuff. Very minimal gameplay changes to those. But then there are time events, yep, like this, where at the moment only change visuals. I'll just get into the planned features then. So the aim play loop is going to consist of a hub area. Like the house, of course, I'm replacing all those models and shit, but when you go from there to different spots of the map, it's going to be, I'd say, about a kilometer, like a square kilometer or so. And you will basically travel from your hub area to quest set piece, to quest set piece, to quest set piece, which I can just have fun with whatever those quests will be. Oh, and the event is over. However, they're not only the constant looming threat of nighttime, which will spawn different roaming enemies and have some other effects possibly, but there are also random events like the solar eclipse or the blood moon, which can happen at any time. So I don't want doing quests to just be boring. You go from one point of the map to the next point of the map, to the next point of the map, to the next point of the map, to the next point of the map. I feel like that would get repetitive really soon, even if I do try and make the set piece quests pretty cool. However, I want to make the world almost seem alive, like enemies will just roam around totally on their own. You can have 100 enemies on the map, and if they don't notice you, then they don't notice you. However, because foliage is going to be way thicker, vision's going to be more obscured, more weather events like maybe heavy fog and super hard rain and storms and shit, and just the nature spawning a bunch of enemies on a small map. You're gonna have to face them eventually, so it's just gonna add some tension to the intermission periods in between quests without it just being a repetitive slog. I want to have some uncertainty so it doesn't just become go out, shoot thing, shoot thing, shoot thing, shoot thing, go out, shoot thing, shoot thing, shoot thing, shoot thing. So the next features I plan to add soon are some basic enemy AI. I want to start modeling enemies and designing enemies and shit. That sounds like I haven't really gotten into that. Next thing I want to do is I want to work in the map. I want to make the atmosphere spooky and shit before I even start adding scary monsters running after you. Of course, I'm sure I'll touch on some AI on the side, because of course I'm not going to totally polish the map before I even create gameplay to put into the map. And the special events and the enemy spawns I want to be dictated by a sort of threat level, kind of similar to Left 4 Dead or The Forest or anything like that, where depending on certain factors, what items you have, how many enemies you've killed, how much loot you have, anything like that, there might be a higher chance of getting random events, a lower chance, maybe enemies have higher detection areas, maybe they'll path around the map faster. I just want tension to build as you get further into the game. I want things to get harder without just, scaling enemies up. Oh, look, there's 12 more enemies and they're all 100,000 health. That'd be boring. I want you to have a say in the state of the world with, the action you commit. Not Undertale shit or whatever, but you understand what I'm saying. Finally, the plot. So the story and aesthetic, me and my girlfriend have been kind of brainstorming on. Nothing super solid at this point, but it's probably going to be mostly themed kind of around a chronic wasting disease. It's a disease that deers can get. Shit just makes them fall apart. It's very sad. I will not look at many reference images for the monsters. I'll probably just, use my imagination for that if I don't want to throw up and get sad. Maybe I shouldn't theme my game around chronic wasting disease when I can't even stand reading about it or hearing the name, but I'm also a massive pussy in general, so maybe, if anything, the fact that I'm so easily scared and disturbed, it'll help me make a spooky atmosphere, or whatever the fuck. So yeah, if there is any interest at all in this devlog, I may add more. I definitely want to keep working this game. I'm only about 2 months in. I plan on working on it for a couple more years, probably. Like a year at least. But we will see. For the negative 13 people who watched this devlog, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one, maybe. I don't know. Bye-bye.